Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors, citizens, residents, visitors, and especially hoist of hoys. It makes up especially Citizen Darkins, getting in with the first message, the first biddy blood, and the first alert of the evening. Thank you so much to the 75 biddies. I was so used to seeing and expecting Hoy, Pride Lion, Hey, and there it is, the hoist of hoys. I know it is your favourite. Night. The end of the week story Sunday, dude. How are you doing? If it is your first time here, thanks so much for taking a punt and coming by as soon as we popped up. Very, very good timing. And if it is your 1 or 1,000th time coming by, you are watching Story Sunday. Welcome. It is the last stream of the week. We're back on the regular schedule. Hey, citizens, see you dying? Actually, no, because I'm prepared, and I'll get to that. So, firstly, one and all, welcome to the warm-up. The warmest of warm-ups. As per usual, the 5-10 minutes plus or minus start time, usually plus. Unfortunately, I had some very thankfully temporary webcam issues that were resolved with a little bit of, if you try turning it half an hour again, things getting done, and yeah, it's all, as you can see, now up and running and working, while I was simultaneously trying to do a few things in Pillars of Eternity that I meant to do all week and I didn't get time, so I was in the last hour before I started the stream just doing a little bit of that in the background, and also, yeah, going through this poem that I'm looking forward to getting to, that See You Dying is submitted for part 1. Even with my substantial, higher than most level of vocabulary and language knowledge, I really had to do some research into certain pronunciations, so that was good. And full disclosure, your humble mayor is rocking a not so humble hangover. It's been a pretty epic weekend, but we'll get to that as obviously recount the stories, updates for the stream, and like what's been going on. What's up? Hey, knackered housewife, how you doing? And yes, what you posted, I'll read it, the one for next week, because I had to draw a decorous line underneath the submissions for this week, because between the poem and another couple of bits, and Darkins, you really went ham on all of the Reddit stuff. Thank you so much for that. And then I saw Sapphire had put in a little story in the Writer's Coffee Shop for a suggestion for Story Sunday, just like little personal bits and pieces. You did promise me one hell of a poem. You're not wrong, Sea Digan. My goodness, did you deliver? Here's hoping I could deliver in kind. Also, just a very small note, technical note right away. Cool, nice one, mate, thanks. Oh wow, you do sound hungover, do I? I did notice that my voice was getting a little bit raw last night, like trying to talk over loud, like really loud nightclub music, but I woke up today and I've had a nap and I've had my dinner and everything else, and I thought it sounded all right. I hope those of you who are used to my dulcet tones and delivering them at their best and most mellifluous is not going to spoil story time for all of you. And if any of you who are coming by for the first time for this, I normally sound even better because I'm sure it's still glorious, but probably tiredness and a bit of rawness kicking in, because yeah, this chap had no sleep whatsoever. Most of them are, yeah, no worries, Darkins, no worries at all, dude. Well, if that's the case, then yeah, we may have time to jump straight onto the one that you put in, Knacked Housewife as well. Yes, most importantly, how is the music level? Because those of you who don't stream may not be aware, I've mentioned this before. The background music in the headphones or of the streamer is usually quite different. It's based on your local level, and I've often found in the past it was going out too quiet. But I listened to the VOD last week, and I noticed the music was really high to the point it was starting to drown out my voice a bit. Hey Sapphire, how you doing, mate? Background music volume's okay, yeah, because I really want it quite low for doing the readings, just as a little bit of something so it's not pure silence. But yeah, anyway, I just noticed last week was a bit loud, so yeah, please do pipe up if it could come down. I really want it just as like a very mild background bit while I deliver all the good stuff. Oh, I'm on buds. Cool, yeah. Main thing is people are in buds. And likewise, if you're listening through speakers, do please let me know. Right, so updates and the warm-up and stuff. By all means, by the way, I'll be reading as you go. Please let me know what have your weekends been like? What have you been up to? Did you go out? Did you get a bit on the sauce? If not, did you stop in? What are you up to? What are you watching? What were you playing? Who are you hanging out with? Who did you see? Did you spend time with family? Significant others? Did you just catch up on some sleep? What's the story? Are you on speaker and it's good? Alright, great. Thank you so much, one and all. It's at Talk Outsider Club level. Oh, perfect. Alright, great. Yeah, because I'm looking at desktop audio. It does seem to be generally better now. It was a bit too high last week. Cool. And most of the short posts, last 3 were really good. I look forward to getting to them. Yeah, so... obviously Friday we saw each other. Thank you everyone who came by for the Contra practice, because watching that back, the first 20 minutes were varieties and level, and then the next 5 hours we're trying to beat stage 6, and in the end had to give up on like no save scumming. I'm going to start from the very beginning of the level no matter what, and I had to just save scum my way through the final boss to figure out his patterns and his routines. But I have a feeling I know how to like beat him now, because I'm going to try with subsequent practices to do it with no save scumming at all, get through on the regular number of continues and the max number of lives on normal difficulty. I'm not putting Contra 3 on hard, it's too hard, but we finally beat it. The game was a little bit rude, the game was a little bit of a cunt, and it went sort of, oh, you're getting better, do you want to do the ultimate challenge? And I hate it when you get that kind of, oh, hey, by the way, did you beat this really hard thing? Well, it didn't even beat the real hard mode. It was deeply, it undercut my victory that was already being undercut by the whole, yeah, at this point I'm just abusing the emulation quite severely, but we did it and it was good. And Nag's housewife is mostly rested up, excellent, although you're still sick. Oh, of course, yeah, I know you've been under the weather for a little while. What was it? Was it chest infection? That's right, hopefully it'll get better. It's cold. Had a good weekend, just got back from lunch at Bahama Breeze. Oh, nice. Now, Bahama Breeze, I don't know it. I'm guessing it's a, is that a US chain? Is it sort of like, does it do seafood, or is it, because the Bahamas, where in the world is the Bahamas? I just know it's a lovely holiday destination. Ooh, Nagged Housewife, I know you've been nailed down with that one for a little bit. Hey, citizen Naomi Sully, the delightful, lovely, multi-talented Krayven's town mum, Naomi Sully herself, is in the chat. How you doing, mate? It's great to see you. Caribbean, that was it, or Caribbean, sorry. Caribbean is a US pronunciation, and that's prefacing the poem I'm going to do. That's going to be very UK dialectical based. I just came back from a show at Edinburgh Fringe with the fiance. Oh, lovely. I'd love to go to the Edinburgh Fringe festival one of these years. I know that's going on right now. It's amazing. I saw the Ballad of Mulan, which is more faithful version to the poems. It was awesome. Yes, of course, the Disney one will be probably adapted it to make it a lot sort of nicer and more saccharine, like they do with all the sort of old stories. The Ballad of Mulan, that sounds great. It's a Bahamas themed restaurant. Nice. Oh, you're making me blush. Well, good, excellent. I'm glad. Glow red cheeks. And hey to the Munchkins if they're watching the giant British Cravenstown man on the TV. Yeah, Caribbean, if I can recall correctly. Yeah, best part is I didn't have to pay. Oh, darkened. We all know, I think we can all comfortably agree, the best kind of food is free food, matched only by the best kind of alcohol, which is free alcohol, which segues nicely into what yours truly got up to. So with the Future Past Friday stream going a little bit further, running a little bit longer than I expected, because we got a rather later on raid from the delightful Indeedy and the Cookie Crew coming in and giving us a substantial boost. Yeah, and I wanted to beat the game that night. Basically, once I put it down, it was watching a few more episodes of The Expanse, having a couple of beers, getting to bed way too late. My Saturday, I literally had not even turned on the computer. I didn't come into my office here, so I've been catching. That's why I was catching up on stuff in town today. It's like, whoa, God, everyone, the community's been so active. Thank you, all of you, for being so active. It's really nice to see how much you're enjoying all the bits. It's like, whoa, all these new posts all over Cravenstown. By the way, top work in the meme safe for work channel, and there's a little bit in the meme graffiti, the not safe for work, but there was like 30 new things in there. Some of those memes were amazing. Hell, I'm even going to look back just quickly now and bring that up, because I was looking at a couple of those and I was pissing myself laughing. Where we gone? No. Entertainment, Meme Street safe for work. Here we go. Yeah, this... Oh, God, where was it? One of these cracked me right up. Yeah, knackered housewife. Sheila regrets the passionate spite night she spent with the handsome ostrich. Cartoon's amazing. Guys, if you haven't seen this, go and like scroll up to like the 17th yesterday with a very painful egg birthing. I'm already done with season 2 C9. I've started season 3, mate. I'm like 2 episodes into season 3. It's awesome. Best dinner to pay was with the family. Oh, lots of fluids. Absolutely, yeah. And obviously sleep is the best way to go for a chest infection. Lots of fluids and regular sleep's also good for my hangover. I love the howdy from Incuria. And this one, Naomi, I relate to this. If you could have one special power ability from a video game, what would it be? How long would you like to sleep? 8 hours. Yes, 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 yes. 1,000 times yes. I can't remember I got 8 hours sleep and video game sleep where it's just vroom and you're out flat and suddenly 8 hours have passed. I haven't had that since I was a child. That was hysterical. 2028 Samsung Galaxy. Oh my word, and this video of the chickens coming in doing this. The ducks going round the dog with the Final Fantasy and then planting this in. The editing on this is amazing. It was class. It was absolutely class. It was Steve's Retro Gaming, just like the tiny patch of grass. Oh, fuck's sake, it's going to have a festival. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. There was so much great stuff in there. Thanks, everyone. I'm really glad you just enjoyed the town and all that good stuff. Still watching that back now and just cracking up. Yeah, so yesterday, because it's now Sunday evening, I was up and about. I got up really late because I didn't get to bed till 4. I couldn't sleep. I had some kind of semi-insomnia going on. But yeah, it was Goldberg's birthday. Though you've occasionally seen Goldberg pop up in the chat. He's a streamer like myself. He's also like my best friend of 11 years. His is the stag do I'm organising. Desperately trying to finish booking the last thing for that. We've got a few events booked, but the last one is going to be Zorb football. If you don't know what that is, it's playing regular football. Football, I mean actual football played with your feet. What you in America you'd call soccer. But you play it with enormous inflatable bubble outfits that you wear in your upper body. And you put your arms in. You just crash into one another idiotically, and if we can get, I'm trying to do it, there's an option where it's split 45 minutes of that because it's actually quite exhausting, and then 45 minutes of what's called extreme archery. And extreme archery is you wear fatigues and camo as if you're doing paintball and masks and stuff, but you have bows and arrows, like sports bow and arrows, and the arrows have got inflatable ball tips on the end, and you just run around shooting each other, sort of a la Hunger Games. It's pretty cool. So that looked fun, but I got suddenly given a quote that we had to put a minimum spend of 350 quid, and there's only going to be like 7 of us doing it, so I'm like trying to come to get this guy to get back to me so I can come to an arrangement with him ASAP, because we're now like 3 weeks before the stag do, but otherwise then I can plan out all the rest, and it's coming together, and that's really good. But yeah, Goldberg's, it's his birthday on, it's the 19th, so today's, yeah, tomorrow's his actual birthday, so we had his birthday party, or like get together, like little low-key thing in Oxfordshire yesterday afternoon and evening. I had to leave in the evening because I promised some friends from like February I'd be at this nightclub event. They come over once a year from Belgium to go to London, so one of them used to work there. So these twin sisters, friends of mine, Vera and Clara, from Belgium, who I knew even before I moved and lived in Belgium, and then they're nice, and we stayed friends like 10 plus years. I met them originally through World of Warcraft. So yeah, I was kind of committed to like go and do this, and I was looking forward to it as well. It's just a bit unfortunate, like the two quite cool events clashed on the same day, but I was really glad. Goldberg's birthday party started at 3 in the afternoon because he lives way up north, 250 miles north, or 400 kilometers if you're on the metric system for distance in mainland Europe, and he comes down a couple of times a month for work because he works remotely, but his office is still based in Oxfordshire. And the best part of that is he brings his daughter down sometimes as well, Ariadne, and or Addie for short. Now she is my odd daughter, or if most of you probably understand the term goddaughter, but as they're atheists and so am I, we used odd daughter instead as a sort of fun little term. But yeah, his little girl is my goddaughter. I haven't had a chance to put a couple of pictures up yet, but with his permission, I'll get them in the photo galleries. I hadn't seen her in nearly a year. Like, literally. I mean, I see all the pictures on Facebook. Her mum, Karen, is always putting up the latest things. It's all super cute. I get to follow all of that, and that's wonderful. But the last time I saw her, I was swinging by for an event last year up north, and she was still basically a baby. She was like a year and a half. And, yo, Pugpack, this is Story Sunday. How you doing, man? So... we do, as with every stream, I do the warm-up, but the Sunday warm-up is always a longer sort of recount of what's been going on over the weekend, what I've been doing, just catching up, chatting with the community. Then I do live readings of submissions, the suggestions forum, along with other stuff like games and ideas for the channel and the community. People put in their stories and poems they'd like me to read, and that's part one, live reading. And then part two is very narrative-oriented games, and that's Pillars of Eternity 2. For like the second half of the stream. Thank you, I appreciate that. I've had enough compliments on my reading voice and my overall tone that I decided to make it a thing, and it's generally proven quite popular amongst my lovely regulars. I am sounding a bit raw today because I've got a raucous hangover, and I'm just getting to that sort of the long-winded version of that story now. Anyway, to speed things along there, yeah, suddenly my goddaughter is like this 2-year-old, and she's really articulate, and she's had her first haircut. She got these beautiful golden curls, and she's at the dinner table, just into the pub. It was our local pub in Oxford on a Sunday afternoon, and yeah, your damn voice makes me go to sleep. You're not the only one who says that. That kawaii kitty loves to tune in for her fuck was that bedtimey bits. How dare you give me comfortable sleep? 1,000 pardons, Sapphire. Lila as well, Councillor Lila loves to have the sort of her bedtime stories. I know, it's so lovely. I can't wait to get a picture up with her. She's gone from being a baby, like these like curls. Redbeard's family, his mum and dad were there as well, because we all know each other. And on Goldberg's birthday, they brought a gift for Addy, like this little toy barnyard thing game. Me as a much better friend, I actually bought Goldberg a gift, and it's the same thing I got for myself on I'm a Coconut suggestion the other week, which is a nice little ring light and clamp for a mobile phone. If you Google selfie lights, people who want to do makeup tutorials or do selfie stuff, it's like a little desk clamp that has a nice little ring light and a phone with it. And as most of you know, I use my phone as my second screen for reading chat when I'm full screen with games, so it doubled in value. It's really good. It's a really handy thing, and it's Goldberg as a streamer as well. I don't want monitor streamer, it's like perfect. It's actually nice not to have to rack my brains over a good present. I'm like, wait a minute, it doesn't break the bank, I know he'll use it, it's really useful, I know it's great value for money, and just being able to think, perfect, boom, Amazon Prime arrived the next day, ideal. Oh, we got a hunt underway, so yeah, I was able to get him something, and a suitably a dirty, weird, creepy card, as one on a gentleman friend would give to another, or any friend would give to another, you know well enough. So yeah, I was really happy to just spend the afternoon, get an early dinner, have some pints, catching up with friends in Oxfordshire, and see my goddaughter and get some pictures with her. And she now does cheese for the camera, and it's the cutest thing. So I'm like, I've seen her again, and that's like made me feel really good, because she's just such a little munchkin. And then it was off to jolly old London. And Oxford's quite lucky. We've got, as well as the trains and stuff, a 24-hour bus service that goes cross-country, so it's like 50-60 miles, £15 return, and it runs 24 hours a day. The slowest you have to wait is like half an hour, and the quickest it goes is every 10 minutes, just in. So you're stitched up, you're trying to get out of London, as long as you're going towards Oxford you can. So yeah, just jumped straight on there and got to the Roadhouse nightclub. Met up with my friends Vera and Clara, who were delighted to see me, because I hadn't seen them since the last time we were clubbing there, like about a year ago. And some other mutual friends were there, but eventually it was just before too long. It's just the three of us having our drinks, having our cocktails. I like the Roadhouse nightclub. It's fun. It's got like this kind of retro-y kind of vibe of like sort of like those metal panel American posters and like neon lights and bits, but it's pretty good. As live bands, decent DJ. It's quite an interesting, different crowd of people, quite a range of folks out. So yeah, it's never any one thing. It's quite unpretentious. They do some very good cocktails. I discovered it was a variation on a Long Island iced tea, and I think it was called a Beverly Hills iced tea. It's basically all the booze from oh dear, Stonecrusher Phoenix beat the shit out of us. Better luck next time, everybody. All the booze from a Long Island iced tea, but then that one little bit they put on top that's not non-alcoholic that gives it the main flavour. The Beverly Hills version, they replaced that non-alcoholic bit with Prosecco. It is strong. I mean, if you just held a lighter over this thing, it'd take your eyebrows off. So I was trying a few different cocktails, and just like kind of including some of the unique ones, the signature ones they do there, and a few bits. Rip us indeed. We'll do better, folks. But then I suddenly thought, wait, I'm paying like £9-10 per drink here. Right, I'm getting my bloody money's worth, as one does, as one thinks. And I was like scrolling down. Long Island iced tea is always a good bet for like throwing in a lot more booze, and obviously they chuck in shitloads of ice because of course. And then I saw them I ordered it, and the guy behind like one of the bars like, having a heavy one then? I'm like, apparently yes. If you say so, Mr. Bartender Man. And he throws it together, Prosecco on top. I took a drink and now I'm no stranger to the varieties of alcohol. I know. I'm glad you're sat down for that shock. This thing even still shocked me a little bit. It was not weak. So yeah, I decided to make them my drink for the remainder of the evening. I only had like 2 or 3, but I'd been out in the pub having 3 or 4 pints since 3 in the afternoon. Had some dinner early and had time to sort of calm it down. And have the bus ride to sort of mellow out, go in, take my time with my friends, have a few cocktails, and we moved on to this. But good night. It was a really fun night. I was on form. Now at this point, I'm not gonna go too sort of past PG-13, but there was quite a variety of lovely young women out there, and I didn't seem to be able to do a thing wrong. One particular bit is I literally looked like the spit, like the absolute twin of someone's brother. Like someone just came up like, please can I take a photo of you? I was like, right, why? It was like you're like, and they were really insisting, and they were saying like, we're trying to sneak one earlier, but just thought we'd just come up and ask you. And I was like, I'm not going to be a dick about that. Like, yeah, okay. And she's like, this is actually freaky, it's weirding me out. And the girl who's had this brother, she's like, I'm going to go upstairs, get some signal, I've got to show you. And I did. I have to admit, I didn't see it as strongly myself, but then when she showed me a few more, I was like, actually that is kind of weird. I do have this like accidental twin somewhere who's this nice young woman's brother. He's a bit taller than me, and I'm 6'3", so he's like 6'5". But apparently, on top of like the fact we looked relatively similar, we had the exact same mannerisms and way of standing, and just those little gestures that really make a similarity, and like manner of walking and everything. So that was odd, but that was a nice icebreaker for a conversation. And yeah, things went. I had a very, very nice evening, a lovely afternoon with old friends and my old daughter, like I say. Then a great night clubbing with some long-term friends from abroad who I used to sort of live in the same country as. Lots of charm and fun dancing, strong drinks. A friend of mine at the last minute gave me a place to crash in London, and I've had no sleep, like at all. Couches, and I won't say why. I'll leave it to your imaginations. I performed a goddamn miracle, shall we say, and we'll leave it at that. And yeah, I left my mate's place at 7:15 this morning, went and had a nap for about 3-4 hours this afternoon, so I just had enough energy to get through this without being like ratty and irritable and like going, hey, evening everyone, welcome to Story Sunday. Your hairstyle today reminds me of a more practical tint. Thank you, C. Diane, I think. Oh, and Darkins has challenged Pugpack to a duel. I like breaking ice, it leads to a surprise drench. Toot Saka. So clever. So clever. Oh, Darkens, you're... Well, that's curious. What's happened there? Oh, you're fully revitalized. Okay, you guys can... Oh, Pugpack declined this time. Didn't either have enough creds or decided not to duel. No worries. So, yeah. And then here I am. Ready. So that's the whole warm-up. That's the whole bits. Ah, a challenge to see you dying. See you dying. You're going to take up the challenge against Darkens for our first duel this evening. So with all that said, despite being absolutely physically washed out, oh, who's going to win? Darkens. Well fought both. Well fought both. Let's crack on with some stories. This is about 25-minute easy, 23-minute odd warm-up thereabouts. So that's everything that's been going on. Things you haven't already told me, please. What have you been playing? What have you been watching? Who have you seen? Did you have fun with the family? Have you taken the kids out? Or if you don't have kids, did you take yourself out? Did you go to the zoo? Did you chill out on the beach? But in the meanwhile, we have a lot of submissions here. So the first one actually was posted last Tuesday by Evil Jess. This is a rather sort of comedic news story to start us off. So, warm up done, part 1, Story Sunday, community submissions. This is from Sky News on the 10th of August. A falling bear lands on a police car in California, causing it to burst into flames. Now, my first instinct is this would happen in Florida, but apparently not. Rigged, obs. Oh, see, I did Warframe and coding a private project for once. Oh, very cool. Hang on, I'll just tilt my second monitor up there so I can see it. The exciting life of jet setter such as myself. Totally. I expect to see stories and see pictures and hear stories about your latest escapades in Saint-Tropez before too long. See you know. So, falling bear lands on police car in California, causing it to burst into flames. The bear smashed the windshield, with the car hitting an embankment, rolling onto its side and bursting into flames. And if you want to click, obviously all of these are coming from the suggestions forum. If you want to follow along, do go in there and link. For the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to insist you all follow along and I'll post. Tell you what, as I got OBS, if you just want to see it and follow along yourselves, I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to post the links in here as well. So yeah, this police car got shagged. A police car has been written off after it was hit by a falling bear in Northern California. I am intrigued. Tell me more, Sky News. A sheriff's deputy was on the way to the reports of a drug overdose when the bear either fell or jumped onto the bonnet. Gonna go with jumped, probably. The bear smashed the windshield, with the car hitting an embankment, rolling onto its side and bursting into flames. Jesus Christ. The fire spread for about half an acre and gutted the patrol vehicle, but the deputy managed to escape without serious injury. California's Department of Transportation issued a reminder to drivers to stay alert and be aware of the nature around them as they use the roads. Yes, beware of full-grown bears falling on your car. Natural California problem. It said, quote, bears, elk, and deer are just some of the critters, that's such an American way to describe that, some of the critters sharing our coastal home. Don't worry, the bear also fled the scene. Fled the scene. I love it, like the bear's a criminal, like kind of wanted. Bear responds to Yogi, last seen blowing up a police car a la GTA. Oh, good lord, Darkens. The bear couldn't bear it anymore and jumped. Just hovering over that temporary banhammer. Actually, wait, what am I talking about? We love puns here. We love puns. Points for that. Fall and run, hit and run with fall and run with aggravated arson. Darkens has been trying to 100% Hollow Knight after completing it. The amount of grief it's giving me is obscene. Also trying to complete the 5-hour speedrun achievement. Yeah, Bear's guilty as for 5 hours to do Hollow Knight. I don't know how the hell that would happen. Right, now this next one, submitted by See You Dying. I had to prepare for this for about an hour, and I really hope I don't get it wrong. It's a somewhat long poem. This is probably the longest poem we've ever done. And it's called The Chaos. In fact, for this one, I am going to turn things down even more. Just fractionally more. So that's going to be pretty soft. Now, folks, if you're lurking, if you're just hanging out, if you're just watching, attention! attention, please. If you're watching or whatever and you're listening to me, this is one you're going to probably want to follow along for, otherwise it will be slightly wasted. Here is the link. All of you actively watching, enjoying the story Sunday, please click that, because this poem is called The Chaos. It's a classic English poem containing about 800 of the worst irregularities in English spelling and pronunciation, and this is going to be British English. Now, there's been various versions and adaptations of this, small ones showing sort of insane exceptions versus rules of English and alternative readings. This is the original 1922 version. I'm going to be attempting this, trying to get all 800 pronunciations correct. It includes some old versions of words that are now obsolete. Modern versions have changed quite a lot of this around. It's going to be British English dialect and all that. I'm going to do my best to get through it, but you're going to want to really follow along, because the whole point is to see how it's written versus how it sounds. Oh goodness! Well, before we start that, Darkins just gave a visa to Saka. Saka's Cravenstown citizenship is reapproved, and you are amazeballs, Darkins. To Saka, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. Citizens, if you could please hit that legit, and then hit it a little more for luck. There we go. There we are. Sapphire, yeah, the welcomes are for followers. The legits are for citizens, but appreciate nonetheless. Just spam what you got. Can I post the link again? Yes. Well, we'll get through the remaining hit the legits, and then I'll put it back up. Never mind that. What about the world record holders of the speedrun of Hollow Knight? No idea. Good luck on the 5-hour speedrun. I can't pull that off yet. I can't follow along because I'm on my phone. No, I'm going to post the link in the chat and just tap the link and it will come up and you can scroll up and down, Naked Housewife. So no worries at all. So folks, even if you're on phone or tablet or mobile, just tap that link and it will come up in Chrome and you can scroll down and I'll just be reading it as I go, because that way you'll be able to fully appreciate the poem. Tood Saka, welcome back. Enjoy the legit emotes. Hit that legit as you see fit. The most common bit of gamer slang on the internet, and the only place you'll actually get an emote that says it. Hit that legit for new citizens like yourself. Hit the welcome banner for when we get new residents and followers, and you can once again use the welcome command, !welcome, when we get rates. Wave your... what are you on now by now? Tood Saka, you're up to a bronze. Wave your all-new Cravenstown town flag loud and proud every time you chat. And the longer your citizenship is maintained by yourself, or by kindly others like Darkins here, the fancier it will continue to get. You'll be able to enter our citizens only giveaway, our subs only perk of a monthly prize draw for a free game, of which you were the last winner. The next one will be the 1st of September, Story Sunday the 1st of September, prize draw time 8 PM. You will have your access returned to Citizens Towers within the hour, because in Craven's Tower, because your Discord and your Twitch accounts are linked. And last by no means least, my undying appreciation and gratitude for being such a regular and consistent viewer and supporter of the channel since you got here, and Darkins for 41 gifted visas, along with everything else bits wise and ways you support the channel above and beyond your exceptionally consistent viewership over the last year. Thank you so much. That yellow page is bright, or is it tan? Fiance is also listening. Oh, marvellous. Yes, it is a sort of yellow, bright tan. Okay. The original version of The Chaos by Gerard Nolst Trinité from 1922. I'm going to turn that right down in my ears. Please do say if the music needs to go a bit lower. So, if you're all following along to see how it's written versus how it's going to sound. Dearest creature in creation, studying English pronunciation, I will teach you in my verse sounds like corpse, horse, and worse. I will keep you, Susie, busy, make your head with heat grow dizzy. Tear in eye, that dress you'll tear, queer, fair seer, hear my prayer. Pray, console your loving poet, make my coat look new, dear, sew it. Just compare heart, hear and heard, dies and diet, lord and word. Sword and sward, retain and Britain, mind the latter how it's written. Maid has not the sound. Maid is not the sound of bade. Yes, it does. Maid has not the sound of bade. Say said, pay paid, laid but played. Now I surely will not plague you with such words as vague and ague. But be careful how you speak. Say gush, bush, stake, streak, break, and bleak. Previous, precious, fuchsia, via, recipe pipe, studding sail, choir, woven oven, how and low, script, receipt, shoe, poem, toe. Say, expecting fraud and trickery, daughter, laughter, and terpissa. Oh god, that one is terpissa. First one tripped me up. I didn't make it all the way. I think it's trickery, terpsichore. Branch, ranch, measles, topsails, isles, missiles, similes, reviles. Holy, holly, signal, signing. Same examining, but mining. Scholar, vicar, and cigar. Solar, mica, war, and far. From desire, desirable, admirable from admire. Lumber, plumber, beer, but briar. Topsham, Brougham, renown not known. Topsham, Brougham, renown but known. Knowledge done, lone gone none tone. One anemone, Balmoral. Kitchen, lichen, laundry, laurel. Gertrude, German, wind and wind. Bow, kind, kindred, Q, mankind. Tortoise, turquoise, chamois leather. Reading, reading, heathen, heather. This phonetic labyrinth gives moss, gross, brook, broach, ninth, plinth. Have you ever yet endeavoured to pronounce revered and severed? Demon, lemon, ghoul, foul soul, Peter, petrol, and patrol. Billet does not end like ballet, bouquet, wallet, mallet, chalet. Blood and flood are not like food, nor is mould like should and would. Banquet is not nearly parket, banquet is not nearly parky, which exactly rhymes with khaki. Discount, viscount, load and broad, toward to forward, to reward. Ricocheted and crocheting, croquet, right, your pronunciation's okay. Rounded, wounded, grieve and sieve, friend and fiend, alive and live. Is your R correct in higher? Keats asserts it rhymes Talia. Hue but hug, and hood but hoot, buoyant, minute, but minute. Say abscission with precision, now position and transition. Would it tally with my rhyme? Oh, that's gone too far. Would it tally with my rhyme if I mentioned paradigm? Tuppence, threepence, wow. Teas are easy, but cease, crease, grease, and greasy? Cornice, nice. Cornice, nice, valise, revise, rabies, but lullabies. Of such puzzling words as nauseous, rhyming well with cautious and tortuous, you'll envelop lists, I hope, in a linen envelope. Would you like it some more? You'll have it. Affidavit, David, David. To abjure, to Persia, shake, does not sound like check, but ache. Liberty, library, heave and heaven, Rachel, lock, moustache, 11. We say hallowed, but allowed. People, leopard, toad, but vowed. Mark the difference, moreover, between mover, plover, dover, leeches, breeches, wise, precise, chalice, but police and lice. Camel, constable, unstable, principal, disciple, label, petal, penal, and canal, wait, surmise, plate, promise, pal, suit, sweet, ruin, circuit, conduit, rhyme with shirkit and beyond it. But it is not hard to tell why it's Paul, Mall, but Pall Mall. Muscle, muscular, jail, iron, timber, climber, bullion, lion, worm and storm, chase, chaos, chair, senator, spectator, mayor. Ivy, privy, famous, clamour, has the A of dram and hammer, pussy, hussy, possess and possess, desert but desert, address, golf, wolf, countenance, lieutenants, hoist in lieu of flags left pennants, courier, courtier, tomb bomb comb, cow but cowper, some and home. Solder, soldier, blood is thicker, quoth he than liqueur or liquor, making it is sad but true, in bravado much ado. Let me just catch up. It's flying by. 2 seconds. That's Financial Times white. Hard to tell some colours when it burns my eye from going to a dark screen to a light one. Nothing better than gushing bush. So done in a DOC. Mugarel Lukicha. Hi. Next stream, I guess. Sorry, so I'm guessing some emotes of those didn't come up for you. No problem. You might need a guide to find out how to Team Cherry is very good. Okay, just like Dark Souls. Cool, cool. Nothing wrong with talking about a cat. Yes. Soldier, soldier, blood is thicker, quoth he than liqueur or liquor, making it is sad but true, in bravado much ado. Stranger does not rhyme with anger, neither does devour with clangour. Pilot, pivot, gaunt but aren't, font, front, won't, want, grand and grant. Arsenic, specific, scenic, relic, rhetoric, hygienic. Gooseberry, goose, and close but close. Oh, sorry, and close but close. Paradise, rise, rose, and dose. Say, inveigh, nay, but inveigle. Make the latter rhyme with eagle. Mind, meandering, but mean. Valentine and magazine. I bet you, dear, a penny that you say manifold like many. Which is wrong? Say rapier, peer. Tire, one who ties, but tear. Arch, archangel. Pray, does erring rhyme with herring or with stirring? Prison, bison, treasure trove, treason, hover, cover, cove. Perseverance, severance, ribald, rhymes, but piebald doesn't with nibbled. Phaeton, peon, gnat, gat, gnaw, lean, psychic, shon, bone, pshaw. Don't be down, my own, but rough it, and distinguish buffet, buffet. Brood, stood, roof, rook, school, wool, boon, Worcester, Berlin, to impugn. Hang on, I've got to just unclick so I can roll this more easily. Saying sounds correct and sterling. Hearse, hear, hearken, year, and yearling. Evil, devil, mesotent. Mesotent, mind the Z, a gentle hint. Now, you need not pay attention to such sounds that I don't mention. Sounds like pause, 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 and pause. I love that. Rhyming with the pronoun yours. Nor are proper names included, though I often hear heard, as you did. Funny rhymes to unicorn, yes you know them, vaughan and strawn. No, my maiden, coy and comely, I don't want to speak of Chumley. No, yet Frood compared with proud, Fraud compared with proud is no better than MacLeod. But mind trivial and vile, tripod menial, denial, troll and trolley, realm and ream, schedule, mischief, schism, scheme, Argyll, Jill, Argyle, Gill, surely may be made to rhyme with Riley. But you're not supposed to say Piquet rhymes with sobriquet. How had this invalid, worthless documents, how pallid, how uncouthly couchant looked when for Portsmouth I had booked. Zeus, Thebes, Thales, Aphrodite, paramour, enamoured flighty, episodes, antipodes, acquiesce and obsequies. Please don't monkey with the geyser, don't peel taters with my razor. Rather say in accents pure, nature, stature and mature. Pious, impious, limb, climb glumly, worsted, crumly, dumbly, conquer, conquest, vase, phase, fan, one sedan, artisan. The th will surely trouble you more than r, ch, or w. Say then these phonetic gems: Thomas, Time, Teresa, Thames, Thompson, Chatham, Waltham, Streatham. There are more, but I forgot 'em. Wait, I've got it. Anthony! Lighten your anxiety. The archaic word albeit does not rhyme with eight, you see it. With and forthwith, one has voice, one has not, to make your choice. You make your choice. Shoes goes does. Now first say finger, then say singer, ginger, linger. Real zeal, mauve, gauze and gauge. Marriage, foliage, mirage, age. Hero, heron, query, very. Parry, tarry, fury, berry. Dost, lost, post, and doth, cloth, loth. Loathe. That's a very archaic and outdated spelling of loathe, actually, from 1922. So dost, lost, post, and doth, cloth, loathe. Job, job, blossom, bosom, oath. Foe, a pugnant, keen, oppugners. Bowing, bowing, banjo tuners. Home, you know, but knows canoes. Puisne, truism, used to use. Though the difference seems little, we say actual, but vittle. Seat, sweat, chaste, cast, lee, eight, height. Put, nut, granite, and unite. Reefer does not rhyme with defer. Pfeffer does, and zephyr, heifer. Dull, tripped over there. Dull, bull, Geoffrey, George 8 late. Hint, pint, senate, but sedate. Gaelic, Arabic, Pacific, science, conscience, scientific, Torb, hour, dour, sucker, four, gas, alash, and Arkansas. Say maneuver, yacht and vomit. Next, omit, which differs from it. Bona fide, alibi, gyrate, dowry, and awry. Sea, idea, Guinea, area, Psalm, Maria, but malaria. South, youth, south, southern, cleanse and clean. Doctrine, turpentine, marine. Compare alien with Italian. Dandelion with battalion. Rally with ally. Ye, yea, ye, I, way, key. Say Ava but ever. Fever, neither. Leisure, scheme, receiver. Guess, never guess, it is not safe. We say calves, vowels, half but Ralph. Starry, granary, canary. Crevice, but device and eerie. Face but preface, then grimace. Phlegm, phlegmatic. Ass, glass, base. Bass, large target, gin give verging, ought, oust, joust, and scour but scourging, ear but earn, and air but tear, an air and tear, does not rhyme with here but air. Mine the O in off and often, which may be pronounced as orphan, with the sound of sore and sauce, also soft, lost, cloth, and cross. Pudding, puddle, putting, putting, yes, at golf it rhymes with shutting. Respite, spite, consent, resent, liable but parliament. 7 is right, but so is even. Hyphen, roughen, nephew, Stephen. Monkey, donkey, clerk, and jerk. Asp, grasp, wasp, demesne, cork, and work. A of valour, vapid, vapour. S of news, compare newspaper. G of gibbet, gibbon, gist. I of antichrist and grist. Differ like diverse and diverse and divers. Rivers, strivers, shivers, fivers. Once but nonce. Toll, dole but roll. Polish, Polish, pole and pole. Pole and pole. Pronunciation, think of psyche, is a paling, stout and spiky. Won't it make you lose your wits, writing groats and saying grits? It's a dark abyss or tunnel, strewn with stones like Rollock and Gunnel. Islington and the Isle of Wight, housewife verdict and indict. Don't you think so, reader, rather, saying lather, bather, father. Finally, which rhymes with enough? Though, through, bow, cough, huff, sow, tough. Hiccup has the sound of sup. My advice, give it up. If you're a non-English speaker, enjoy that journey through hell. And if you are a native English speaker, it was probably a bit of a nightmare. Thank you so much, See You Dying. To prepare for that live took me about an hour, and I still tripped over it because it wasn't fresh in my head. But Jesus Christ, that was The Chaos. Let's just go to the name again. The original version of The Chaos by Gerald Knowles Trinite from 1922. I'm quite happy to go the rest of my life not doing that one again. Fucking hell. Let me just catch up there. Oh my word. Hey, Incuria. Hello. I love that innuendo. It was used a lot in Are You Being Served? Incuria from internet. In my junior year of high school, this guy asked me on... Oh, sorry, Incuria. You're already posting a full... Okay, well, I'll quickly do this now because they're just in the chat. From internet, in my junior year of high school, this guy asked me on a date. He rented a Redbox movie and made a pizza. We were watching the movie and the oven beeped, so the pizza was done. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "This is the worst part." Then I watched the boy open the oven and pull the pizza out with his bare hands, rack and all, screaming at the top of his lungs. We never had a second date. That's fucking insane. Hey, Cammy, how you doing, mate? Cammy yeets herself in the chat and smirks. Lovely to see you, mate. Another one from the internet from Inkyria very quickly. My whole class once got detention because I drew a penis with a glue stick on the whiteboard. When the teacher went to wipe it off, all the fluff came off and stuck to the glue. That's an amazing prank. I never got in trouble because the whole class found it too funny to tell the teacher it was me. Oh, hit that legit, folks. Hit that legit. It's for every one of us. Stand for every one of us. It's everybody and everybody. Oh, Inkyria, I'm really losing my voice. I'm so sorry. Inkyria, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You're not just legit. You're once again Krayven's Town a legit. And oh, Cammy was. Oh, that was Dark and it's 2 Cammy. I'll do it again and I'll do both things. I don't know why it came up with the renewal and that was a gifted one, but either way. Cammy Poo Darkens for 42 and 43, and Inkyria and Cammy Poo, the Marky Moon, welcome back to the ranks of the citizenry. You're not just legit, you are once again Krayven's Town legit. Enjoy the legit emotes, more to come. Bit by bit they are coming. I'm going to keep saying that so much until they are. Use that legit as you see fit, the most common bit of gamer slang on the entire internet, and the only channel actually get it, the one that says it, and you can use it everywhere as people report they like to do and get commented on. Where did you get that? Of course, use that legit when we get new citizens. Spam it for yourselves and spam it for others, whether it is gifted by one of our lovely folks like Darkens here or renewed of your own volition. Use the welcome for when we get new followers, aka residents, and you can now use the welcome command, ! welcome, when we get raiders. Wave your respective Krayven's Town flags loud and proud every time you chat, and the longer your citizenships are maintained, the fancier they will get and level up, with your streak continuing of 3, 6, 9 months and a year. You will be both able to enter the citizens giveaway. The next one is going to be on September the 1st, Story Sunday, September the 1st, 8 PM UK time is when I open up the draw with ! giveaway. If your Twitch and your Discord accounts are linked, which I think they both are, and you're in Krayven's Town, which I think you both are as well, you will get your names in gold assigned by the bot. If you're not, there is the link right there, and have access back to Citizens Towers, a subs-only area, which has the lounge and the treasury and the perks therein. And last by no means least, my undying appreciation and gratitude once again to Darkens for 42 and 43, Live the Universe and everything, and then a follow-up in gifted visas, and to you both for being back here and being such decent regular supporters. May Dixie Rect 5, hello, welcome, welcome. ! Hunt. Let's go and take care of some creatures in the Badlands south of Krayven's Town. I'll just go back up to where the last part of Inkyria's bit. It never got to because he's laughing too much at the Cammy Poo. Thank you so much to the host, the Krayven's Town minions cheer in your honour. The putting glue on the board and then the teacher wipes it off and got fluff and no one dobbed him in because it was too funny. And then one from Inkyria. From me, I drew a very big boned teacher in school. That's a very polite way to put it. He called me up and asked me to draw the same cartoon 3 times on the board behind him during class 1 hour later. That's the most redundant punishment ever I've heard. That's brilliant. It's soon gone. Back to work tomorrow, Yeehaw. How you doing? And calling Italians alien is disrespectful. Shame on me indeed. Not looking forward to work. Oh, Darkens, how come? I'm sorry. Gonna be a rough day. Day 1 is usually hard. And Cammy Poo is in the house and she's now a citizen again, which is awesome and excellent. I was catch up on the rest there. And to hello, May Dixie Rect 5. Thank you so much for checking out part 1. We're doing live reading of story submissions, bits of poems. Just got through a huge poem about the chaos of the English language. This is part 1, and then part 2 we're going to be doing narrative games. It's going to be Pillars of Eternity 2, because I do Story Sundays about just telling stories submitted by the community from all over the internet or themselves, and then doing narratively driven big things where I can do all the dialogue and the voices for the gameplay for part 2. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks so much for popping up in the chat and saying hi and watching the show. I do sincerely appreciate it. Now, where were we? So yeah, that was a huge one. Thank you. That was See You Dying. Citizen See You Dying submitted that poem, The Chaos. And then I've got another one here from Knackered Housewife called Oh, this is some poem called 50 Shades of Grey by Pam Ayres. The missus bought a paperback down Shepton Mallet Way. I had a look inside her bag. 'Twas 50 Shades of Grey. Well, I just left her to it, and at 10 I went to bed. An hour later she appeared. The sight filled me with dread. In her left hand she held a rope, in her right a whip. She threw them down upon the floor and then began to strip. Well, 50 years or so ago I might have had a peek, but Mabel hadn't weathered well. She's 84 next week. Watching Mabel bump and grind could not have been much grimmer. And things then went from bad to worse. She toppled off her Zimmer. She struggled back upon her feet. A couple minutes later, she put her teeth back in and said, "I am a dominator." Now, if you knew our Mabel, you'd see just why I spluttered. For I spent 2 months in traction for the last complaint I'd uttered. She stood there nude and naked, bent forward just a bit. I went to hold her sensual like and stood on her left tit. Mabel screamed, her teeth shot out. My God, what had I done? She moaned and groaned, then shouted out, "Step on the other one." Well, readers, I can tell no more of what occurred that day. Suffice to say, my jet black hair turned 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, God, that was amazing. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Citizen Knackered Housewife, for that glorious poem. That was class. That was actually amazing. And that was a rather witty little thing. Let me just give you the poet's name again. Obviously, go to the suggestions forum and scroll up if you want to grab it and download it. It's a screenshot. It's a visual image. 50 Shades of Grey by Pam Ayres. I'll just type that in there so you can Google it if you want. 50 Shades of Grey. Pam Ayres. There you go. That's that poem that we just had. Right, now we've got a bunch of stuff for Reddit, the Reddit bits. We're on to the Have You Read It on Reddit. So Darkins has submitted a few, as he is always want to do. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate you doing it every week. And this is from IDontWeekHereLady. This is a subreddit of people, stories of random people have gone into businesses and then had other irate customers mistake them for employees. This was posted a day ago by user JLV059. About 5,600 upvotes. So, short story. So, I was at a resort in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. My parents are Dominican, so I speak pretty fluent in Spanish. I was by the pool chatting with one of the lifeguards when a Karen, we all know the type, in her 30s tapped me on the shoulder. Karen, excuse me, I need a clean towel. Which is like ridiculously offensive. She stares at me while holding a soaked towel. Me, sorry, I don't work here. You might wanna. Karen cuts me off. Yes, you do. I just saw you speaking English. So what? I'm also speaking perfect English. Well, if you're working with tourists, you should speak English. Trying not to seem rude, I point her to the tower station. Karen, can't you grab me one? I don't speak Spanish. Me, no, you can figure that out. You can figure it out. Karen walks away angry, and me thinking that was the end of it, I headed to the bar. Lucky for me, I was able to overhear her screaming, I need someone who speaks English in this place. I have a complaint about one of your employees. The employee takes her to the front desk to speak with the manager. 20 minutes later, I see the same employee return to his post, and I asked him what happened. Employee, that crazy lady started screaming in English, so we took her to the manager. She wanted to get someone fired, but nobody knows who she was talking about. I laughed and told him it was probably me. He laughed and said probably these tourists are crazy. Ha! Nice. Absolutely typical Karen. We've got a second I've got a few from IDontWeekHereLady. 50 Shades of No God No. I would have thought you'd have liked it of all people too, Saka. I'm a man of class. Hey, Citizen Phoenix, how you doing, mate? Citizen Phoenix 4 God 44. I call BS, so do I. Yeah, I'm going to second that, knackered housewife. Good job that Tusaka admitted it. Phoenix, how you doing, mate? Welcome to Story Sunday. So this is from user Small Banana Fish Tent, posted 20 hours ago, about 1,500 upvotes, again in r/IDontWeekHereLady. So, so you know the drill. This happened in a country where English is not the official language and Uber or a service similar to it is not operating there. I was visiting a friend in another town. When it was time to go back home, I offered to drop him off at the train station so he can go work his late shift. So I drop him off, and as I don't know this place, I sit in my car and start Google Maps on my phone to take me out of this town. Suddenly I hear my back door being opened. I assumed my friend forgot something in the car, so I asked without turning around, na heißt, was vergessen? German, as we speak German. An angry voice shouts back, I don't speak fucking German. I don't fucking speak German. Speak English if you want to make business. Now stop being rude and take me to address. And then insert address. I take a moment to process what is happening, then I say, I'm not a taxi, sorry, would you please get out of my car now? She's having none of it and shouts, of course you're not a taxi, you are an Uber. I saw this guy getting out of this car and you're on your phone. Now take me to address or I'll make sure you don't get any more customers. Now my initial shock faded away and I realise there is a woman I don't know in my car, which is not a good thing. So I start calm, becoming more aggressive. I say, woman, I'm no Uber, now get the fuck out of my car or I will call the police. She looks at me puzzled, opens the door and I'm happy she leaves. What I didn't see coming was her reaction. I was still having to enter my destination onto Google Maps. Luckily, I had an idea to lock the doors of my car before that, because while I was still fiddling with my phone, she must have seen this. She comes to my driver window and screams, I know you're an Uber, you fucking liar! Now tell me your name and I'll make you get banned! Then she pulls the handle, realises it's locked, spits on my window and still screaming proceeds to smash her handbag on my hood. At this point, I was done with her. My car may not be of value, but this bitch will not smack it and add more dents to it. I was about to get out of my car when I saw two police officers leave the train station, so I just honked. This made this stupid woman more aggressive, but it also made the police officers aware of the situation. They run to my car, one detaining this woman, one coming to my window to ask what was going on. This was when this woman made her mistake. While being grabbed by one of the officers, she screamed, "Oh, what the fuck do you want now? Am I being arrested because he won't take me to my hotel? Oh, kill me already." Well, now she was clearly not in her right mind and vocalized to be killed. What happened next may be in part to the mediocre knowledge of the English language these older German police officers, They must have mainly understood the kill me part and saw the actions of this woman. After they talked to me and I explained to them what happened and that I don't know this maniac, they came to the conclusion she was nuts. So they decided to send her to the psychiatric hospital. Now I know she was probably released the next day, if no judge decided she has to stay longer, but even thinking about this woman having to stay just one night in the psych ward left me giggling the whole 2-hour drive back home. I love that combination of just this angry, uptight cow, obviously having a bad day, and then just wigging out, and a couple of German cops who do not speak very good English. Fantastic. I work in court and I have thousands of ep stories. You work in a court? Oh, Phoenix, for God, if you have some good ones like that, if you're not already, well, there's no obligation to do this, but if you felt so inclined, we have a lovely little community here themed around the idea of a town. And if you have some fun stories to write up, we have the Writers' Coffee Shop in a district called Artisans Plaza. Districts are what we call categories, and places in town are channels. So we have a channel called the Writers' Coffee Shop in Artisans Plaza. So if you have longer stories, you can write them up there. It's also for people who enjoy their creative writing and sharing things they've done and things like that. Or if it's a short little thing or a link you've got to something, you can put it in a suggestions forum, which is in the Streaming Complex district. And that's where I usually go to go and take all the stories, or you can put something in Writers' Coffee coffee shop and say, hey, I put this in there. But yeah, if you have a bunch of good ones like that, then please, that's what Story Sunday's for, is reading out submissions that people have found on the internet and fun poems, but also your own stories if you got them and you think they're rather funny, and if you could do a fun write-up of them. Excellent. Right, on to I Don't Work Here Lady episode 3. They are just sitting here, fire them, apparently. So, submitted by Darkins, by user Tessa Kang William 1 day ago. So the cast, young lady, YL, older lady, oh well, I'll probably just use young lady, older lady, embarrassed kid, EK, me, my friend, a bookstore employee, BE. I'm going to try and remember those now. So young lady, old lady, embarrassed kid, me, my friend and I, bookstore employee. A little info at the beginning. I'm a woman. Since I was 14 years old, started having troubles with people because I looked much more older. People were guessing at least 17 to 20. Also, I'm not really tall. At 13 years old, I stopped growing and stayed at 160 centimeters, 5'2". Also, my friend looked a little bit older than she was, so just so you know. So then this story happened a long time ago when the user is 14 and her friend, who's 16, and they lived in a different cities, so we decided to have a sleepover at my house. Since she was in my city only a few times and only saw my house, she wanted me to take her out somewhere. I didn't complain, I wanted to go out too. So we went to the bookstore because we're both bookworms. So we were in the bookstore and I was showing her my favourite books and she was showing me her favourite books, just chilling out. Then her smart brain decided to pick some horoscope book and she started reading about my love life because that's her only interest. After a while I was tired from standing and just sat down listening to her. And she sat as well, and we're both sitting together. B is the bookstore employee Saurus, but she was good. She was cool with it. She recognised me. Was quite happy that teenagers still read books. We were joking. Me and my friend could talk to the bookstore employees on shift at the store. We were expecting. We're just having a nice time with the books. We were expecting to just have a nice time with the books, and my goodness, were we wrong. But I'm paraphrasing a few things. English is not her first language at all, and there's a lot of errors here, which he's apologised for. So if you catch me tripping up, I'm adjusting something to make it more readable. After an hour of us sitting and reading horoscopes about our personalities and interests and so on, a group of 3 people came into the store. Neither of us were paying attention to them. The worst thing was that this section with horoscopes and so on was right next to the entrance. The bookstore employee was somewhere in the background in the storage. Boombot, thanks so much to the host. No worries, Phoenix for God. We'll see you in a little bit. Bad grasp of your English language by only older Germans I call BS. I don't know. I've been in a similar situation to that. Witness a situation in a supermarket where the cashier was incapable of articulating, excuse me, you forgot one of your purchased items. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. When I was in Germany, I found, there was definitely, the older people really struggled with English a lot more. So yes, the bookstore employee was somewhere in stockroom or in storage. So apparently, these girls were the only ones in the main shop room. And then young lady came over to us. Young lady, excuse me, she tapped on my shoulder. I looked at her with a confused face, and so did my friend. Young lady, aren't you supposed to work? Aren't you supposed to work? She said with a disgustingly sweet voice, where you can hear how much that person kind of wants to kill you. My friend, but lady, we aren't. She was cut out by the old lady. Old lady, how dare you talk back to us with this tone? She didn't scream, but she put some pressure on her words. Both of us, my friend and I, looked at each other with confused and scared faces. Meanwhile, embarrassed kids. Let's see. Meanwhile, this embarrassed kid was behind a young lady, face red from embarrassment, trying to tell perhaps the mother, whoever she was, to leave us alone. He looked about 10 years old, but I'm not sure. The young lady started again. I want to speak to your manager about your behaviour, she said with a sassy undertone. Then I tried to tell them again, we're not employees. Lady, I'm sorry, but again, we aren't employees. Problem is, I'm kind of socially awkward, and when I have to speak with someone I don't know. My inner introvert sort of takes control. So I said it to them, but apparently I said it with my ultra quiet voice. Young lady and old lady were by this time angry and started shouting things at us like we were lazy, we should be working. Then our saviour came. The bookstore employee came from storage and left and took them aside. They thought she was going to fire us, but I think she just wanted to know what was happening and maybe tell them to act like calm down. Meanwhile, my friend and I and the embarrassed kid were chit-chatting about a book. He was cool. Later we found out that the young lady was his mother and the old lady was the grandmother. We weren't talking like even 5 minutes when we heard the young lady screaming through the whole store. "They were lazy and they were just sitting there. Fire them!" she screams at the bookstore employee. This was the last thing she said before bookstore employee had had enough. As much as I know she is a sweet woman, but in that moment she was angry as hell. I don't remember it clearly, but she was explaining that we're just customers and we don't work there. We're expecting that it's over and we continue reading. Again, we were wrong. They both decided to leave the store, but before they left, the young lady came over to us. "You should be ashamed. At your age, I was already working, preparing for my wedding," she added at the end of the whole thing. A desperate attempt to try and recover some dignity after she'd obviously embarrassed herself. I looked at her with my eyes wide open. My friend had had enough of her crap and ignored her. I think she assumed that we were like 18 plus. Me, I'm 14 years old. I raised my voice. They both were looking shocked, then grabbed the embarrassed kid and rushed out of the store. Same night we were telling this story to my parents and all of us were crying from laughter. Very nice indeed. Okay, so that's the ones from I Don't Work Here Lady, and we have another 3 now from Malicious's again submitted by the great, from the great Citizen Darkens, Huntsmaster and Reddit Lord. Vera! Hello, mate! How you doing? Welcome to part 1 of Story Sunday. I'm doing some live reading. We've had a couple of poems, and I'm doing readings now from Reddit that have been submitted by the community. And Vera is actually one of my friends I was talking about in the warm-up where we went out. I gave a very summarised version as I do a little bit of talking with the community first before we start the main thing. And I hope you had a safe journey back home. You're resting up for the evening. Thanks so much for tuning in, mate. I really appreciate it. Phoenix, thank you so much for joining Krayvenstown Discord. That was really cool of you. And thank you for the host. The Krayvenstown minions cheer in your honour. So, this is from Reddit MaliciousCompliance. If you don't know, that is people conforming to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. And let's see, this is from user Lovely Haired Pianist. That's a great username. 1 day old, nearly 16,000 upvotes already. Oh, hang on, is this... Yeah. Oh, hang on, I've got a weird little dialogue-y voice. How do I skip to the next one? Excuse me, background music. There always does this in the free playlists.
2012. I wasn't very good at it, but...
Let's see, let's just jump forward to something like this. Probably bring it up a tad now. There we go. Right, back to my place in Reddit. Yes. So, I work for a, this is from a user, I work for a pretty well-known home improvement store, and we have a break room in the back with a TV for us to watch programs and sitcoms on our break. On this particular day, no one was using the TV, it was turned off, and everyone was on their phones, so I figured there was no harm in plugging in my Switch and sharing the fun of letting people have a go at it. That's very nice. While I'm watching people play, my supervisor walks in and sees the setup. She informs me that this is the company's TV, so you can't use it for personal entertainment. Big bummer, since people are having fun, but I can't lose my job, so I pack up the Switch. That day, on my way home from work, I passed by a house that has a massive, honking, old-school CRT TV. One of the huge, if you're one of the youngsters, one of the younger people, those old TVs with the big backs to them, out front that are giving away for free. It's bigger than the TV we have at my job, and it still works. The next day, I haul this massive TV out of my car and into the break room. I get a few odd looks, but I don't care. Too focused on complying with the rules. I plug this sucker into the wall right underneath our company TV, which is now tiny in comparison to the CRT, and hook up my Switch for people to play. Someone's really risking their job here. Supervisor walks in and sees people playing on a bigger monitor. I'm not using the company TV, but I am using an even bigger personal TV. People are playing the Switch. I was going to say swaying the pitch there. Playing the Switch and having a good time. She tries to say something about how I'm blocking the view or causing casual disruption in the break room, but the other TV is off anyway, and people are watching intensely as two co-workers are racing around in Mario Kart, so I don't really think it was that big of a deal. I'm not really sure if I'm going to get a strike for this or not, but it'll be worth it if I do, and I think I might be able to argue that I followed the rules. Part of me expects that this TV will mysteriously disappear and that security will have no footage of who might have taken it, which will be funny since it's so big, but it's the thought that counts. That's awesome. That is pure malicious compliance. That is, yeah, definitely obeying the letter but not the spirit of a request. Darkens, thanks so much. And always go with MP3. Let's see. Next one in malicious compliance is you don't need to stick to it. Let's see. Full title: you don't need to stick to a contract because you're my mother. Good luck with that. Oh, family dramas. Family dramas. Right, this is posted 19 hours ago by user CyberOrbit. And this happened roughly 5 years ago, just after I turned 18. My mother was running a small art supply shop in the small farming community I grew up in. She took this shop over after the original owners went bankrupt and sold it off. She was doing a pretty good job. Both of my parents are pretty business minded and would make amazing business partners if they could just stand being in the same room together longer than 30 minutes. Oh dear. Just making a few silly choices here and there, and she got us kids to help out quite often. One visit during the Christmas holidays, I came up from my dad's to stay for about a month. My mother had the amazing idea to teach the three kids, me, just turned 18, brother, 16, and a stepsister who was 8, about having a real job, and printed up contracts for us to become employees under her. Nice idea. For my brother and sister, these were not worth the paper they were written on as they were under 18. But because I was 18, it would have to be legally binding. This wasn't her intention at all, but I was willing to take the risk. So I filled it out with complete BS, putting my name down as Elvis, saying I had jail time, drawing a cat as a signature, etc. She went nuts at me. I was apparently being disrespectful and childish. When I tried to explain myself, I was told to shut up and not talk back to her. The convo would go, word for word, "How could you do this? Why would you do something so stupid?" Me, because I'm Mum, shut the hell up, I'm still talking. After this, it was dropped and everyone carried on working like normal. Then I started to notice small and stupid things Mum would yell at the kids for, as the younger siblings. They came in from lunch 5 minutes late. They are in breach of contract. A friend comes in and talks to them for 2 minutes. They are in breach of contract. They want to go to the movies with friends and have a proper holiday for a day. You're in breach of contract. Okay, this woman's sounding more and more like a cow. This is when I decided to read the contract, as I didn't before because I had no intention of signing it, and it was ridiculous. Pay was minimum wage, minus travel costs and food costs. It came out to like $5 New Zealand a week. No days off unless you were seriously sick. 30-minute lunch break in an 8-hour day. No personal communication during work hours. No food or drink while working. Arriving late and leaving early would be penalised. And these were some of the worst points I can remember. I decided this was total BS and needed to teach her something. So using my limited legal knowledge from my IT degree, I rewrote the contract. A minimum wage with travel reimbursed, paid day off for something as little as a cold, a 1-hour lunch break, a personal conversation allowed so long as I'm working at the same time, leaving and arriving 20 minutes late or early caused no penalty. Also, due to my IT qualification, any hour I do any IT related work garnered double pay, even if it was just for 5 minutes. Contract became void after 2 weeks because I was due to go home in 3 weeks. I took this new contract to my mum at the end of a week. Me, Mum, I'm sorry for being such a pain about the contract. So I read through it. Oh, clever. So I read through it, corrected some mistakes I could see, and signed it for you. Mum, oh, thank you. I'll get that signed immediately, and it will start on Monday. To my brother and turning to my brother and sister. See, this is good to learn. I purposefully left some mistakes for you to find, but neither of you read your contracts. Always read your contract carefully. Sure enough, she signed it without reading it. Gave me a hoisted by her own petard there. Gave me a copy, and I was employed for a few weeks. When it came about time to hand in our hours and get paid, my brother and sister went first, got their $5, and were happy. When my turn came, I handed over a notebook with my detailed notes on every task I did, how long it took, and at the end a bill for about $300. I'd done a lot of IT work and overtime to fix her work computer, and handed back my $5 and said, "This looks a little bit light." Mum, "No, you get 5 because," and she goes through the rundown of the old contracts billing. Yeah, me, yes, but that's their contract, not mine. Check the notebook and contract. Mum checks notebook, getting gradually more pissed off. "I'm not paying you this is ridiculous." Me, "But you signed the contract, you agreed to it." Hand signed copy of the contract. She reads the contract, then refuses to pay it as she is my mother and this is stupid, and she rips it up, then leaving with my siblings, leaving me to make my own way home. Since I rambled for a bit, I'll make the next bit short. I got a ride home in a cop car. I asked a favour at the station since I wanted my mother to learn a lesson, but I didn't want to go to court or anything. She was told that the law is on my side. My mother and I are both over 18 and the contract is legally binding. She can either pay me the $300 or I can take her to court over refusing to pay an employee. I got the $300. We didn't speak for over a year. My dad and Nana laughed with me when I told them. Moral of the story, always read a contract before signing it. That's brilliant. The mum sounds like in teaching a lesson she was doing it in a very harsh, exploitative way. That's kind of rough parenting if you're trying to teach your kids about business, and he absolutely got her by what she thought would be so clever and a way to get some free labour out of the kids. And yeah, well played, young man, well played. Well, he's older now, but that was excellent. And then the last one this week from Malicious Hey, Sir Frank Otter, how you doing there, mate? Welcome. Lovely to see. Abusive and criminal are the words that came to my mind. Indeed, that and illegal child labour. Without further ado, I actually should do some shout-outs before we get on to this next story. So, folks, if you enjoy some good retro content from a nice chap and also one of the organisers of Retro Block Party, the shout-out will be available again from tomorrow, who does a lot to help organise the charity drives for Retro, which is a testament to his character. You should check out Mr. Sir Frank Otter. And also, Inkyria is a streamer as well. He's taken up recently. He does a variety of games, retro and current things, and also live art. And obviously, many of you know how good his artwork and drawing is in Krayven's Town, in Crafters Alley, in the Artisans Plaza district. And if you don't, you should definitely check it out. But yeah, he does some of that on his channel. Inkyria, are you... No problem, man. Are you sort of regular? Have you got your schedule up? Or, yeah, how's it going? Feel free to say if you're sort of doing normal day. You're lurking with doodles right now. Well, excellent. I look forward to seeing them. So, last one for this week of Malicious Compliance. The most expensive phone call on the planet by user Altrissa a day ago. 18,000 upvotes in a day and a whole lot of badges. Platinum award, red star of minor approval, 2 gold awards and some silver awards as well. So many years ago, like more than 15 years, I worked as a programmer for an oil and gas automation company. This means we would design and build the computer systems for oil and gas plants, commission them, and support the operators during day-to-day operations. Because of this, my company ran a 24/7 support phone. Every week, a member of my team would get the phone and be expected to be available to answer calls 24/7. We had enough people on the team that would roughly equate to getting the phone twice a year. Most of the employees of this company were salaried, and the 24/7 phone was written into their contracts. But for every phone call they took, they could charge a minimum of 1 hour in banked time. This was a good deal for them, and it made the 24/7 phone easier to handle. I was a little different from my co-workers because I wasn't a salaried employee. I was an hourly contractor. Oh, I can see where this is going. My co-workers would bank their time, but I was just paid out bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. My contract also stated that if I was being paid by the company, I had to be available exclusively to the company. This was added by the HR department because a few years before they caught an hourly contractor running side jobs for other businesses at his desk. This also meant if they wanted me to be available exclusively to that company, they had to pay for my time. For 2 years, I knew the 24/7 phone existed, but had never had to take it on because, according to my contract, if they wanted me to be available, they had to pay my hourly rate after normal working hours to ensure I was available to answer the phone when it rang. Then, as in most corporate stories, my completely awesome manager left for greener pastures and was replaced with an absolute tool. Oh my god, I can relate to that so many times. It keeps happening to me. Great manager for a while and then some bellend takes over. After a month of being in the office, he decided it wasn't fair that everyone took turns on the phone except for me. He declared that I would be put in the rotation effective immediately. I didn't want to cost the company a ton of money, so I tried to explain that if I'm on the 24/7 phone, that means they have to pay me 24 hours a day for 7 days. He scoffed and told me I obviously didn't understand how business worked. I told him he didn't understand how my contract was laid out and I'm an hourly contractor, not a salaried employee. He insisted that I have to be a team player. I had better take the phone or look elsewhere for employment. I didn't want to seem like I wasn't a team player, so I accepted the phone and started my clock. 7 days later, I handed the phone off to the next guy and submitted my bi-weekly invoice. It came out to just over $10,000, with $8,400 being just 1 week of having the phone. I waited about 15 minutes before I was pulled into the manager's office. When I arrived, the manager, the head of HR, and the manager's boss, the head of the department, were there with my most recent invoice sitting on the desk. And the department head just looked at me and asked what the hell I was thinking when I gave them that invoice. I explained that the new manager insisted I take the 24/7 phone, even though my contract clearly stipulates that if my company wants me available 24/7, they have to pay for every minute I have the phone. The new manager became redder with every word. When I was finished, the department manager turned to him and asked him why he didn't know this, since it's common knowledge that no contractors are ever put in that kind of position. As he was stuttering for an answer, the department head dismissed me and told me to expect my check at the usual time. The best part? During the entire week I had the 24/7 phone, it only rang twice, both during work hours and both calls asking for a specific person in the department. All I had to do was give them a phone number. Those 2 3-minute phone calls cost that company $4,200 each. After that, the new manager pretended I didn't exist and refused to talk to me for 3 months until he was moved to sales in a different department. I was at the company for another 2 years and never saw that phone again. Outstanding. That's my favourite malicious compliance one so far. We've got a few more Reddit ones here, or 3 more Reddit ones, and then a new site. Oh, we've got a science article as well from resident Duncan of Florence in a little bit. We got some ProRevenge. We got a couple of ProRevenge ones. Love a bit of ProRevenge. That was absolutely glorious. I'm just waking up. All your managers are tools, are they? Yeah, and I can imagine there's a few of you that can relate to the managers being dicks kind of thing. Put that in writing. Nice. Oh, my regional manager sounded like that. Literally, when I was contracting ages ago at Sky, I used to have this great manager in his team. I got moved from a general sort of testing to being an analyst, and we had this small team of systems analysts, and I was a contractor, and I had this really nice guy I got on well with, and then the departments were merged, and this nice manager got stitched up, and ended up working under this completely ridiculously strict pain in the ass guy who had no people skills. He even acknowledged it. He was just this super sucky dude with no sense of humor in anything. Anyway, I just made sure I moved to somewhere different department as much as I possibly could, and then 6 months later I was I'm done with this guy. My current general manager, I swear, is a 2-year-old. I will get to it. I'll get to it, Sapphire, please. I said, because that was a short one, I put a line underneath it in the suggestions forum, but that one came in, so yeah. I don't need... It's better not to sort of reiterate, I did say earlier, like kind of like insisting. It doesn't go down too well when it comes in, or please read my thing. I said I would. So glad I freelance that. But I'm doing them in the order they're submitted, obviously. Orange, this is from user OrangeMen 0000, posted a couple of days ago, 7,400 upvotes. So this is ProRevenge, as the name suggests. Have you got a good story of getting back at someone who wronged you? Please post it here. And the user is that landlord refuses to fix broken windows. Okay, Kira, I can speed read this. G to the G. I can speed read that, but I will acknowledge your request. Landlord refuses to fix broken window. It costs him thousands of dollars and his job. Oh, good. Nothing better than the bad landlords getting stitched up. I'm sure some of you, many of us all have dealt with bad landlords in the past. So, keeping this vague on purpose. Yo, Dex, Resident Dex, how you doing, mate? We're in the latter part of part 1 of Story Sunday. So, my girlfriend and I moved into a house that had several broken and cracked windows held together with tape. The rest of the house was great and in perfect condition. The landlord promised to fix the windows ASAP. He kept promising to fix them month after month, with no action being taken. After 6 months, I began recording his phone calls and had recorded him threatening to have us evicted if we got a lawyer, which is, I began recording his phone calls and recorded him, threatening to have us evicted if we got a lawyer, which is extremely illegal in my state. Landlord cannot retaliate against a tenant for getting a lawyer. She is indeed. How you doing, Dex? Happy weekend. Yeah, so Sav, I didn't really come over necessarily as a joke. Obviously, and if it did, it just gets lost in text. So it's nothing personal, but it's just a general thing. Yeah, that I read through an order and I'll deliver it, for folks not to sort of insist, because then it's like it gets a bit awkward. So we got a lawyer and provided him with the recordings and pictures of the windows. We also contacted the city code enforcement department and reported some minor code violations that we noticed throughout the house. At this time, I worked for a medium-sized payroll and corporate compliance company who happened to do the payroll for the company that my landlord was president of. Because of this, I could see exactly which laws he was breaking due to state and federal human resource and labor law regulations. Handy. For example, he did not have a company handbook, labor board posters displayed, and didn't have various federal compliance reporting measures in place. Being in the industry, I knew the minimum fines for the slew of violations his company had would be about $730,000 due to the length of time they had been operating without these requirements in place for his business. So I reported his company to the appropriate regulatory committees, knowing perfectly well that when the shit hit the fan, they would look to him for answers. I didn't hear anything regarding his company violations for some time, while the legal negotiations continued between my lawyer and his. In the meantime, the code department issued a $10,000 fine for the code violations, including the windows, and required him to fix the windows. Now, anyone who knows Windows knows you shouldn't replace one window at a time, especially when you have numerous bay windows in the house. This required him to replace the windows in the entire house, which ended up costing around $6,000, as there are lots of windows in the house. The legal negotiations ended after the windows were replaced. In my state, due to the clause listed in the lease, I was able to bill the landlord for my legal fees and fight him on this issue. Add another $5,000. We are now at $21,000 in costs incurred by the landlord for these windows. A couple of months go by and I notice he's no longer on the company payroll. Again, I worked for the company that did his payroll and compliance for the company he was president of. So when I called his company to verify we shouldn't be paying him, I was informed there were organisational changes due to fines brought against the company for a number of violations. When all was said and done, the landlord paid $21,000 out of his pocket directly for the windows, and it cost him his job and his company at least $730,000 in federal and state violations. It didn't cost me $1 in the end. Couldn't have been happier with the outcome. Jesus Christ. That is some savage revenge. That is from Savage Revenge. We got one more from second one, sorry, from ProRevenge, which is "You don't get to make my little sister cry." Oh, good. We got a little sibling sticky up sort of thing. My little sister is 10 years younger than me, but we have the. Oh, so this is from user Zwadara. Thank you, Effects, so much for the host. This is why you listen to Compliance Analysts and Compliance Association. Yeah, absolutely, Sapphire. Not wrong, mate. This is going to be a good one. Yeah, I'm keen for this. Effects, Citizen Effects, how you doing? Thank you so much for the host, mate. My little sister is 10 years younger than me, but we have the best relationship. So any of you with younger sisters or younger siblings or sister relationships and like that, I'm sure you'll relate to this. I care about her more than anything, and while I'm non-assertive when it comes to myself, I can go full spawn of Satan on anyone who tries to hurt her. So, 3 years ago, my sister went to high school for the first time. She was 12 and super excited and had her best friend by her side. Or we thought it was her best friend. Things went bad within the first few weeks of them going to that school. Her friend became extremely possessive over my sister, telling her she couldn't hang out with other kids and so on. Then she became jealous of my sister, who was getting good grades and lots of praise from teachers. So she told her that she shouldn't try so hard because it didn't make her look good. My sister is very ambitious. I often tell her she's the new Hermione Granger, but also wanted to be a good friend. So instead of giving up on her schoolwork, she offered to do the homework together. And this little brat took a lot of offense to that offer because she was smarter than my sister. Didn't show, but oh well. Then my sister started coming home crying nearly every day because Brat was complaining about every single thing. "You're clicking too loud with your pen. You're not paying enough attention to me. Your handwriting's so bad. You're only getting good grades because you're always looking at my work." After a few times having a crying sister in my room, I was fed up and wanted to storm the house of Brat and smack the hell out of her. But my sister begged me not to and just said that she would try harder to please her. We had several talks about Brat's behaviour and how my sister should stand up for herself, but she dismissed it, not wanting to ruin the friendship further. Then, one day, my mum took my sister to Comic-Con and she met her favourite actor, Sean Maguire. They had a picture taken and my sister came home glowing from happiness. But 1 hour later, I walked past her room and heard crying, so I went to check up on her. She was holding her phone and showed me the reason. She had sent Brat a text about meeting Sean, and Brat accused my 12-year-old sister of being a slut for hugging an adult stranger and taking a picture of it. While scrolling through their conversations, previous conversations obviously, I found a lot more shit. She'd called my sister ugly and stupid and said other demeaning stuff like, "Oh, you're not special at all, no matter what someone tells you." But I also noticed that each conversation ended with Brat begging my sister not to tell our mother. Once again, I wanted to grab my bike and go to this Brat's place, but my sister became hysterical, and we ended up talking the entire night about her getting out of this friendship with no result. However, I was out for blood, knowing what Brat was doing to her and determined to get back at her. I sat down that same night and just googled her name. Her YouTube account started showing up at various videos and I couldn't believe the stuff she was commenting. Brat told several popular YouTubers in her country that she had terminal cancer and was lying in the hospital for 3 months. This filled me with even more rage. Having actually lost my best friend at the age of 12 to cancer. Oh Christ, on a bike. This stuff is not something you can use to get a reply from a YouTuber, and I was disgusted beyond words. We took screenshots of everything and showed my sister what I'd found the next day. I took screenshots of everything, and she was stunned, but once again chose not to ignore it. Several months passed, and somehow my sister actually stood up for herself, finally, and ended her friendship with Brat. However, they were still classmates and would sit next to each other, and even though they were not friends anymore, Brat continued to make my sister's life as miserable as she possibly could. Right, as possibly could. We're in a Christmas part of the playlist at the moment, so we'll just jump through that. It's not Christmas. I'm not going to be like one of those stores that starts putting the Christmas music on too early. Where was I up to? I got curious and once again googled her name, and bingo, this time's story was that she was raped at a very young age and was now the mother of a child. I took the screenshots and tried to convince my mother that she had to talk to Brat's mother. My mum, already having a troubled relationship with Brat's mum, thought about it but decided not to. She did tell me to save the screenshots. I didn't really hear about Brat for a while, but then my sister approached me and told me that she had googled Brat herself, and the newest story that she was having anorexia. However, Brat took it one step further this time and wrote an anonymous story to the newspaper of the school, telling about her anorexia and how she was on the verge of dying, but that she was a fighter. She had found her inner strength to battle her mental illness. This little girl sounds like a cunt. Once again, it was all a lie, and she wrote it in such a way that it was obvious that she was the anonymous one. I was done with this kid, and although I felt wrong to have a personal vendetta against a 15-year-old, I was also determined to have some sort of revenge for all the shit she told my sister. And then the perfect opportunity came. You see, all the kids at that school have to do some sort of internship at a local company for 2 weeks, and Brat applied to the local Christian store but was turned down. She told a few of her friends that the company had told her that they didn't do those kinds of internships due to the short amount of time. But Brat told her mother a different story, that she was turned down because she was a Muslim. Mother Dearest then went to the local... Oh! La Laura! Exclamation mark! I put a pause right there. Exclamation mark! Welcome! Citizens, hit that welcome. We have a La Laura here. No, whatever, Nubs. You kidding, mate? Nubs, good evening to you. Exclamation mark, welcome. La Laura, thank you so much for the raid. Oh, sorry, there's a 1 second cooldown on it. A legit welcome to Krayven's Town. One and all, welcome indeed. XELX, welcome to Krayven's Town. Lodging is being prepared. Please ignore the screams. Laura, it is lovely to see you. It is lovely to see you. Yes, oh, sorry, Frank. Yeah, that's a subscriber-only one because it uses the emotes. Perfect, folks. Welcome to Story Sunday. My name is Krayven. You are watching the Story Sunday. We're at the latter part of part 1. It's a 2-part stream where I read submissions that have been provided from the community, my community from all over the internet, and their own personal stories and other sort of funny things, from poems to funny stories on Reddit. And then for part 2, we move over to very narratively strong games. At the moment, it's Pillars of Eternity 2 with lots of great dialogue and running and gunning and action and things I can do the voices for and read. The main overall emphasis is stories, reading and narrative. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend, and thanks so much for popping by. Now, and I'm going to ask a very small favour to all of you who just came in, those of you who decided to stick around. If you can just hit that link, then the raid will count towards my view count right away, because at the moment it will say refer a raid, and then it will get rid of that bit, and then you'll be watching the channel directly. Lara again, Ninja gave me a handy. Oh, I thank you. I'm flattered. Cheers. This weekend has been wonderful, my high self-esteem. And Smaz, wait a minute, we've been here before. I think you have, Smaz. It's not the first time Laura has raided me. Now, Vera, here. Well, no, Vera, don't worry, it's fine. It's just everyone who just came in with that raid. Raiding is when folks from one channel bring their community over to another when they finish their stream. So let me get a shout out for Laura Live. Now, Laura, I originally know from Shady Streams. I'll make sure I'm getting this, getting that completely correct. And yeah, Laura, and it's Capitals Live. Folks, Laura is a music streamer and singer primarily. She is a lovely singer, and she plays piano and does live things. Laura, please feel free to tell more about your stream. Do you do any of the games as well? Or are you 100% dedicated to music at the moment? And do you do requests from people? I haven't had a chance to catch some of your stuff in the last couple of weeks, and I really should because our times match over. $2. He's so cheap. A tenner. Jesus, guys. So far, just music. But yeah, folks, if you're really into sort of nice music, live singing, and more dick pic, less Laura. Oh, goodness sake, Ninja, jeez. Well, as I got nice remarks, I'll give you a little bit of chest hair. Is that all right? Do a little bit of my biddies for titties. No worries at all. And yeah, but really, she's lovely. She was a mod over at Shady Stream, started streaming, is doing so well at it. She's kicking ass, and she's a nice human, a great singer, a great pianist. And yeah, feel free to Laura, like I say, feel free to talk a little bit about like whether you do requests, how your music streams go, and everyone, once again, welcome. To quote Diablo, stay a while and listen. Hate to raid and rhyme, but I totally gotta go. Thank you so much. Have a great stream. All right, no worries. Again, go and hit her name and give her a like and a follow. She's lovely. She's good people. I promise. Absolutely promised. Dick not nip. Someone's thirsty. Yeah, Ninja gave me a handy. Is very thirsty indeed. Welcome, one and all. It's lovely to have you here. I'm literally in the middle of the last few stories for part 1, and then it's Pillars of Eternity 2. So we're getting to the best part of a revenge story about why you don't make this user's sister cry. We're reading this off of Reddit. So you see, all the kids at that school have to do some kind of internship at a local company for 2 weeks, and Brat had applied to the local Christian store but was turned down. She told a few of her friends that the company had told her they don't do those kind of internships due to the short amount of time, but Brat told her mother a different story, that she was turned down because she was Muslim. Mother Dearest then went to the local newspaper and actually did an item on it. My sister came running. Oh, stuff's happening. Nubs! I swear I will finish the story. It's just to make me dance. Oh, Laura! I can't go. My voice is wrecked with a hangover, so I can't do the high-pitched bit. Firstly, citizens, please, all citizens will hit that legit. Laura, welcome to the ranks of the citizenry. You are not just legit, you are now Krayven's Town legit. Enjoy the legit emotes, especially the legit itself, the most common bit of game slang on the internet, and the one place you'll get an emote that actually says it. Use that legit as you see fit, combine it with other emotes like hype and GG and love to make them legit hype, legit GG, legit love. Use it when we welcome other citizens, which is what we call subs, and when we get other followers, what we call residents. We've got a welcome to Krayven's Town banner, and you can now use the welcome command for when we get raids, like your delightful one that came in with the legit welcome to town. Next, wave your Krayven's Town flag loud and proud every time you chat, and the longer your citizenship is maintained by yourself or other kindly souls like Nubs and Darkens and all the awesome people who give us gifted citizenship, the fancier that flag will get. You will be able to enter the Citizens Giveaway, a monthly free game prize draw that's a sub-only perk, the first stream of the month. The next one will be on Sunday the 1st of September, Story Sunday, with the prize draw 8 PM UK time, exclamation mark giveaway once I open it up. You will maintain or get your access to yeah, I'd rather not answer that about my sister, if that's okay, Ninja. It's all for good laughs and stuff, but keep it somewhat civil. If your Twitch and your Discord are integrated, are your accounts are linked, then you'll automatically be assigned the citizen's role in Krayven's Town. Our Discord is very nice, very non-toxic, very homely place. We love a dark sense of humour, and we enjoy a good pun and so on. But we have a full town theme and a secondary focus on mental health support. I'm an advocate for mental health on Twitch as well, so if you like that kind of stuff, should you feel inclined. And yeah, if your accounts are linked, you'll automatically be assigned the role and have access to Citizens Towers, a subs only area including the lounge and the treasury. And last but no means least, my undying appreciation and gratitude not only to yourself but to Nubs for yet another gifted citizenship visa, up to 34 already. Goodness. Well, thank you everyone. Cheers. What does this chat become? Well, we do have the Twisted Sisterhood, and we have some bits, so we do enjoy some good sort of random bits and pieces within reason. Oh, guys, it's a super cute channel. It has all that town structure. So, thank you. Yeah, it's something I'm looking to do more of a piece on. As it's using game theory and gamification, and to my knowledge, I'm one of the only people who's done it. So I'm planning to put together some content for that in future. Yeah, okay, Ninja, I'm all for like good laughs and bits and things like that. So this is your last warning. Please you came in with a raid, I'm really grateful, and that's cool, please stick around, but you are being a bit too graphic and a bit too rude. This is a positive stream and it's a non-toxic kind of place, just come in and do that kind of stuff. So if you can settle in and get with the vibe of the community, fantastic. But okay, fair enough. Well, no worries, but making remarks like that, no they didn't. Okay. I'm afraid that you really are a bad fit here, and I'm sorry to do this, but okay, look, last warning, please no more comments like that. We just want to get through it. Everyone here is nice and positive. We'd be happy to have you, and thank you so much for watching the channel, but if you can just moderate yourself a little bit better. No, we'll just leave it, but we'll put it just like that. Okay, cool, awesome, thanks. Okay, where are we up to? Yeah, so Mother Dearest went to the local newspaper and they actually did an item on it. My sister came running to my room when the article was published online and showed me the Facebook page of the newspaper where the company was accused of being racist. There were lots of comments with people being angry and saying they would boycott the place. Mum actually responded to a lot of these comments, and I read one that started, "This poor innocent girl." Poor innocent girl. I'm no lord. Yeah. Sorry, Ninja, but I can't. You're pushing a bit too far. We do have channel rules that say, like, no religious and stuff like that. If you're just going for a bit of a wind up, I'm afraid you're in the wrong place. So thank you for being here, but I'm going to have to say goodbye and good night. Okay, the rest of you, sorry about that if that was a little bit off-putting. Thank you so much for sticking around. Let's just carry on. That's only the third one I've ever actually have to do, so please don't let that get a bad or different impression of the channel. We get almost no trouble here whatsoever. So, let's see. Oh, don't worry, folks. Let it pass. It's all good. It is all good. I've had to do a grand total of less than 5 on one hand. The best thing to do is be civil and be polite and grateful for the view, but if they can't behave, it's like they were never here. So, poor innocent girl. Now, those of you who came in with the raid, I'm sorry, like half this story, there's not some context, but this little girl is like, who's been in the thing, has been a real so-and-so. Trust me, my sister and I had the biggest smile on our face as we hit send with several of the screenshots I'd saved over the years that showed Brat's true personality. A lot of the commenters turned around and the reputation of that company was somewhat restored, but that wasn't why I did it. This girl was tearing down everything and everyone that crossed paths with her. And if her worst thing was her mum finding out, then I'd make sure it's not just her mum knew, but everyone in her local town. Her mum never contacted our family and an apology never came. I left the screenshots up for 24 hours and then deleted them. We noticed that all of Brat's social media got deleted, which she wasn't even allowed to have in the first place because of age and stuff. And through other friends of my sister that found out that she's grounded for the entire summer with no phone or access to the internet. Also, Brat's boyfriend broke up with her after hearing about the lies she told and how she would treat other people. A few weeks ago, the school handed out report cards in front of the students and their family, and Brat and her mum didn't dare look our way. My sister got praised by the teachers in front of 300 people for her extremely good grades, and Brat started crying hearing about it. As happy as I am that Brat finally got some karma, I do hope her parents will take her to therapy or something. I must admit, I agree. She sounds like she's quite troubled. As for my sister, she's much happier, although her self-confidence is sometimes a little shaky from her time with Brat. But I'm sure she will slowly discover that she's an amazing special person no matter what anyone tells her. And the TLDR, just don't mess with my little sister. That was an awesome revenge story, Darkens. Thank you so much. Let's see. Oh no, but you're good people. You're good people. One tries. Thank you. Hackett housewife Vera. My daughter has just. Nub says my daughter has gotten to the age where she asked me embarrassing questions about sex. Just this morning, she asked me, "Is that the best?" Oh my god! Jesus, Nubs. It's messed up. See, that's fine, but we know Nubs. We like Nubs. I'm this close after that joke to giving you honorary mayorship for a day because you continually insist with it. Phoenix, hello again, mate. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, there's a fine line. You can come in and we love a dark sense of humour. We love the puns, but don't come in being a massive bellend. Phoenix, thank you for the rehost, mate. I appreciate that kindly. All right, man, we've got so much content. I might have to go a little bit longer for Pillars of Eternity to make up with this. Who knows? Well, might be a longer stream. Where are we up to next suggestions? So, we've got a couple now from Duncan. And don't worry, Sapphire, your little story, your personal story is going to wrap up this week. This is from Duncan. This is from Today I Learned. And Today I Learned is a rather wholesome channel on Reddit. It's a rather wholesome subreddit. TIL. Literally, you learn something new every day. What did you learn today? Submit interesting and specific facts or stories about something you just found out. So usually this is people posting stuff and it's from links to sort of technical or scientific articles and stuff like that. So Today I Learned the whistling noise when bombs are dropped, an actual intentional design for psychological warfare in World War II. That's kind of dark, but it's interesting. Okay, so this is from a site called mechstuff.com. I'm just going to link this in the chat, so any of you who are interested in reading this in your own time or finding out further know what to do. Let's see. Beep beep. Bye bye. And by the way, can I post about the knob attack? I don't know what that is, C9, but if it's just a link to it, suggestion forum. And if it's a full story you'd prefer to write up, then the Writer's Coffee Shop is good like that. Tulun, do I like jazz? It's not one of my go-to genres of music, usually, but done well, yeah, some of it is really nice. Okay, well, Odd has to run to work and ban evasion can result in a full... Okay, fair enough. Oh, Tulun, thank you. Well, I appreciate that very much. Welcome. Tulun07, welcome, folks. Can we get some welcome banners in chat? Can we get... So it's a random, upbeat, happy playlist, because Sunday and Story Sunday is always a happy boat. Citizens, please, can we get some Welcome to Krayven's Town's banners there for our newest... so those are all good. Those are welcome as well. But the welcome banners are for new residents. The welcome command is for raids. There we go. The welcome banners is for new residents. That's it. You're on it, folks. You're on it. The welcome command is to receive raiders, because we like to match all their awesome positivity with our own. Well, Tulun, welcome to a very positive community, and thanks so much for taking up your residency. Lodgings are being prepared. Please ignore the screams. So Frank Honor, have a great day at work, and I hope your boss, your general manager, isn't too much of a penis. Phoenix says roses are red, violets are blue, Pornhub is down, your Facebook will do. Oh, good lord. Oh, good lord. Oh, don't worry. It's more of a request thing. It's not the worst thing in the world to put a nice big welcome like that. It's nice for the people to see. But yeah, it's just the general rough and ready. Don't worry. I only say that as a reminder, not as a command of you must do it this way, grr. Jesus Christ. Nubs, I'm not even reading that. Nubs is an absolute animal. That is dark. That's usually a bit darker than what we have. I'll leave that up, but I'm not going to read it out. Right, so this is from... did I already post the link? Jesus Christ. See, we already know Nubs. We like him. We know he's a complete, deviant, but he's got a heart of gold. Okay, that wasn't a challenge. Alright? So, mech stuff. Why did this happen? So let's... Okay, it's not too meaty of a thing, it's just an overall bit. No doubt you've heard those whistling sounds of bombs in cartoons or documentaries. The whistling sounds, just check is the music volume a bit too loud? I feel like it might be fractionally up a tad too much. Oh, it just changed track anyway, so that's not a problem. Where are we at? Yeah. No doubt you've heard those whistling sounds of bombs in cartoons or documentaries. The whistling sounds are associated with a character where a character used to fall from a hill or a cliff. It sounds somewhat like this. Let's see. Yeah, that's sort of creepy. I'm sure you can hear that over the music. That Before the answer, yeah. So it's the Doppler effect. Now, the Doppler effect is the change in frequency or wavelength of a wave as the source and observer move towards or away from each other. It's named after the Austrian physicist Christian Doppler, who described the phenomenon in 1842. The effect also causes sudden change in pitch. The best example in case of sound waves is a change in pitch of an ambulance or police siren passing by, and the best example in case of light waves is the redshift seen by astronomers. As the object or source of sound keeps approaching towards you, the pitch keeps on increasing and vice versa. So it goes like when an ambulance comes up, the most common thing of the Doppler effect is when you get a race car going by you and that build up and then that speed away. That sound wave is the Doppler effect in motion. Now, regarding answering the question, why did bombs make a whistling sound when they fell? The reason was some bombs were equipped with whistles. The reason behind attaching whistles on bombs was to weaken the enemy morale and to scare people. It was another way of saying, we are coming and you're going to die. The change in the pitch of sound was due to the Doppler effect, so when the bomb is dropped from the airplane, the velocity of the bomb goes on increasing due to gravity until it reaches its terminal velocity. As the bomb approaches towards ground, the pitch increases and thus the quee sound. Does it make sense? But you are alerting to the enemy about the bombardment, aren't you? Well, yes, but it really doesn't matter because the people don't know where the bomb will strike. Plus, there's not enough time to take proper shelter. Now, the pitch of the bomb, the sound of bombs decreases in the... Okay. No, that's right. I'm actually going to report that. Half a second. How do you... report. So that's some straight up racism. Ninja, seriously, this isn't going to do yourself. Your entire IP is going to get banned, dude. Hateful conduct. Okay. Oh, for goodness sake. Using... I'm sorry I have to type this. You'll get away with it for a bit because my cancers are busy, so just ignore it. And apologies, newer folks. This has never normally happened. There we are. Right, you've been reported. And... Yep. Okay, sorry about that, folks. We never normally get this. Actually, that's not a bad offer, Nubs. On a temporary, yeah, if you're going to be around for a bit, I will do that. This is a real reminder that I need to open up the elections. I need to open up the Cravenstown elections and increase it because we've got a lot of pressure at the moment. We've got a lot of pressure on just... oh, goodness sake. Red Weird, Lila, and Hollow One. They can't always be available. So, yeah, there is going to be an expansion in moderators. Nubs, can you just type in the chat? That should be able to work. Citizen Angel Queen, how you doing? But, yeah, Nubs, if you can just keep yourself busy. If you need to head off, just let me know, and I'll give someone else temporary moderation. Test. All right, great. Cool. Yeah, if you can just keep an eye on that particular kid. I'm assuming it's probably some 13-year-old or angry incel. I hate to break the fact that I literally got laid last night and he's probably busy wanking with Cheeto dust covered fingers. But we'll leave that alone because he's almost certainly still watching. There we go. All right, thanks a lot, Nubs. I appreciate the offer. And Angel Queen, Citizen Angel Queen, how you doing, mate? It's lovely to see you. But yes, people don't have time to take proper shelter. Now, the pitch of the sound of bombs decreases in the audio clip that we use because it's the one used in cartoons. This is because the effect is heard with the pilot's perspective. In the above audio clip, pitch is decreasing, so the source is moving further from the listener, therefore the pilot's perspective. If you reverse the audio clip, the pitch will increase because the source is approaching the listener. So that is what the bomb would sound to a person on the ground. Thanks so much. Rub it in effect. Sorry, what did I miss? Oh, yes, of course, right. Just popping in, have to get straight to work. Angel Queen, thank you so much for leaving the lurk up. Thank you so much, thanks. It's been about a week for me, almost dying of thirst. Been a longer than a week for me, I must admit, mate. Dying of thirst. Jesus, knackered housewife. Now, don't... so that means that they're going... The bombs landing on people would have gone... and gone louder and louder and more threatening. Besides the whistling bombs, other threatening noises from World War II were the sounds made by the Ju-87 Stuka dive bomber planes. Stuka were equipped with a siren, which were called Jericho trumpets. The siren rang when the plane used to dive for bombing. The sounds of the siren were louder than the bombs and would panic the enemies and the people, as shown in Dunkirk. So here's a video containing the sounds of Stuka sirens. Right, so I'll just pause the background music and play this Dunkirk video. So this is the Stuka siren sound, the Stutzkampfbomber. I hope that's loud enough. Yeah, you hear that? So that wasn't normal. Those were whistles and things deliberately put on planes for psychological warfare purposes. Damn, man, I actually never knew that at all. I thought it was just to do with the shape that they were manufactured. But yeah, bombs had deliberate whistles put on them for psychological warfare. We are incredibly creative as a species when it comes to killing each other. What? I'm in my 20s. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Had my teddy bear last night. I didn't even catch that nice one. Nubs, thanks for jumping on it. Don't, Phoenix, it's just someone who's making new names and has decided to target the channel. Don't even acknowledge it, please. Just, yeah, if you see that name come up with anything like that, just don't even bother. We're above that. We're above that. Yeah, it's actually, I have to admit, I'm getting acknowledged enough to get negative attention. That's kind of fun. I've had like 3 trolls in the 15 months I've been streaming, like ever, that I've actually had to get rid of. Okay, on to, we've got a second today, I learned. So thank you so much, Darkens, for that one. And we've got an article from New Scientist. Now, hopefully this is a free one, not one behind a paywall. It is. This is cool, right? I'll link this because you're gonna want to see the picture for this one, folks. That's true. Yo, Resident, I'm a coconut. Did someone call for a troll? Oh god, we said troll 3 times in the mirror and up he pops. How you doing, mate? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Okay. And this is world's largest frog builds its own ponds using heavy rocks. The world's largest frog builds nests in streams which seem to entail shifting rocks that weigh up to 2 kilos. This heavy lifting, well, that's going to be a pretty hench frog. This heavy lifting may explain why Goliath frogs have evolved such large bodies. So yes, the Goliath frog, Latin Conrour Goliath, can be 34 centimeters long and weigh over 3.2 kilos. This is definitely worth checking the picture because it's got to scale with the hands. They are only found in Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea, where they live near streams. Despite their fame as the world's largest frogs, almost nothing is known about them, says Mark Oliver Rodel at the Berlin Museum for Natural History in Germany. The entire African continent, and in particular Central Africa, is extremely understudied, he says, and Goliath frogs are hard to study because they are skittish. Goliath frogs are endangered, particularly because they're hunted for their meat. So Rodel's team decided whether to start a captive breeding program. Realizing they needed to know more about how the frogs reproduce, they talked to Cameroonian frog hunters who told them that adults build and guard ponds in rivers. It sounded very fascinating and completely unexpected, says Rodel. So the team began exploring in the Mpaola River in western Cameroon for nest sites. They found that Goliath frog nests are small pools in streams. Some are natural, but others are built by the frogs by clearing rocks from the stream bed. Some stones were visibly moved from day to day as they had been turned upside down. The nests were always cleared of debris like leaves. The typical nest had several hundred eggs, which developed into tadpoles and eventually small frogs. Adult frogs guarded the nests throughout the night. It is not clear why the frogs clear the nests of debris, much of which could be food. Rodel suspects it gives the adults a clear view of predators like shrimp and fish, which are a threat to tadpoles. The team did not manage to see the frogs moving heavy rocks, but several local people gave statements that they had seen it. Many rocks had clearly been moved. Rodel plans to return with more cameras to catch the frogs in the act. He suspects they do it with their hind legs, which are much stronger than their front legs and power their extreme leaps. Goliath frogs can leap 5 meters, jump 5 meters in a bound. That is a huge distance relative to their size. This heavy lifting may also explain the size of the Goliath frogs, argues Rudel. He points out that some other hefty frogs also do significant digging. In South America, male Rosenberg's gladiator frogs construct nests for their tadpoles, while in southern Africa, male African bullfrogs will dig channels several meters long to guide their tadpoles into new pools if the original pond is drying out. All these species which are doing this laborious work are big, says Rudel. If you're doing something like that, you cannot be 2 centimeters in size. Very true. Duncan, those are fantastic. Thank you kindly. And then we're going to wrap up with a nice little story in Writer's Coffee Shop. Sapphire, thank you for your patience. And let's see. Just catch up on everything here. It is seriously impressive. And Coach says, I'm doing very well. I found a hellishly difficult but equally rewarding game that I'm trying to get all of Retro to start playing. Oh, what's that? Would it not been more apt to name him David from given that Goliath frog? That's a very good point, but more of that another time. No, Nubs. Honestly, Nubs. Actually, could you just leave the ban up, please? It's the racism isn't remarks are a point of no return. So could you please reinitiate that ban? I don't want someone like that back in the channel. Okay. So this is from Sapphire 8882, our very own citizen Sapphire. So short story time. In 2010, I recently moved to university where I started to explore my sexuality a bit more. I set up a dating profile on the website Gaydar Girls, not knowing what to expect in the dating scene. I came from Northern Ireland, and LGBT plus issues is always deemed as a taboo, which you shouldn't talk about yet. For those of you who aren't aware, in Britain, in Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland is arguably on a lot of social issues still much more beholden to religious prejudice, and including LGBT people have faced a lot more regular discrimination, unfortunately. So seriously, I still remember the times I got called into the office for having these thoughts when all I wanted was for the homophobic bullying to stop. After a couple of hit or misses, I suddenly get a message from a woman in her mid-20s. She looked okay, so I decided to have a read and was met with a massive wall of text. She was quite forward as she stated she really liked me. My naive mind basically went, yes, finally, until I read on. Then she sets the scene that we are apparently making out on her bed until I wanted to stop to go to the toilet. Then she describes that she imagines me peeing on her, and we proceed to have urine sex. I can't remember the finer details, but I do remember the attachments she sent with the message. She sent me a picture of her in her underwear peeing into the bathtub. I've obviously blocked her and walked away from my laptop, deciding whether I should bleach my eyeballs. The end. Shudders and cries silently. Bloody hell, Sapphire. I've got some online dating horror stories, but wow. Well, there's a different thing to wrap up part 1. Okay, wee sex. This has got a bit more dark. What does a boy with no hands get for Christmas? Gloves! Just kidding, he hasn't opened his present. Oh my god, Nubs! Oh, Nubs. Okay, I'm a coconut. Yeah, go for it, mate. Well, that gave me wait, give me the number of that girl. Why did I give you temporary moderation? The joy of urologynia. Let me read that right. Urologynia. Okay. Well, Sapphire, that was certainly one hell of a one to finish on. Folks, there marks the end of part 1, but don't go anywhere. We're actually going to play some video games now. That's quite possibly the longest part 1 Story Sunday submissions we've ever had. That's like 2 and a bit hours, including the warm-up as well. We had a lot to get through there. Thank you everyone who submitted. Evil Jess, See You Dying, Darkens, Duncan of Florence, and Sapphire, citizens one and all. Well, Duncan Florence, a resident, and everyone else, citizens. Now is a perfect opportunity to get yourself a cup of tea. Go for a wee, ideally not on your partner, and just take a couple of minutes. I'm literally going to update the stream information to Pillars of Eternity 2, and we are going to carry on where we left off last week.